Welcome back to Real Estate Resource TV, where we deliver you the top information on Seattle's real estate market from some of the top professionals. Today, Tyler Freed joins us from Windermere Real Estate, who is one of the top agents not only with Windermere, but also in the area. Welcome, Tyler. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Ben.
Yeah, it's great to have you, and especially going into this time of year where more people are starting to sell their house, not only because of the time of year, but also because, well, houses seem to be selling. And, there's also things that people need to do in order to sell their house quickly. And you brought 5 really good ideas I wanted to discuss.
Yeah, so let's start off with the curb appeal. That's the biggest part. So when I meet with sellers, before we put the home on the market, we say, hey, we got to spruce up the curb appeal. Because when buyers are driving by, looking at homes, grabbing flyers, if the home looks really good from the outside, they're a lot more intrigued to get in the inside and take a look at it.
What are some of the easy things people can do for curb appeal?
Just laying down some beauty bark. Spend $80, $100 and put brand new beauty bark down. Put some flowers out front, make it feel homey, so when the buyers are walking in, they're feeling good.
So just, bark, flowers, maybe a little paint,
Yeah.
Whatever it makes to, because you need people to get into the house before they're going to buy it.
Correct. Yeah, the trim. A lot of times the trim goes a little sooner than the rest of the paint, so making sure that's ready to go and touched up, and that really helps.
And these are pretty inexpensive things, it sounds like.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot of money. The buyers just need to feel like, hey, these guys have taken care of their home. We're good to go. Let's go in there and take a look at it.
And then what about once somebody gets into the house? Because I think this is pretty funny.
Yeah.
This is something you think is obvious, but really isn't.
Yeah, so that tip right there is the smell. So the home's got to smell good right when you walk through the door. So we're letting the clients in. If they walk in and it smells bad, if it smells like smoke or dogs or cats or what have you, yeah, they just get turned off and they're all right, next house kind of thing. So
is there a smell that works best?
Yeah, well, I'm a cinnamon guy, so if it's got that cinnamon scent, I really like it. But no, cinnamon, French vanilla, lavender, just that smell right when you enter the door and get that good home feel. That really helps.
So some potpourri is what it sounds like you're aiming for here.
Yeah, exactly.
Or turn the oven on, bake some cookies.
That works really well. We do that at our open houses a lot. We have that apple pie candle smell or chocolate chip cookie scent.
Yeah, not the real cookies?
No.
What about, so, the house looks good from the outside, it smells good, and, assuming that most of the rest of the house has been taken care of, you had actually brought some pretty interesting things that seems like you want to make sure your agent is doing in order to get the most eyes on that property.
Correct. So the marketing, that's the biggest part of it. You got to distribute this particular listing out to as many buyers as possible. So that starts with having it in the correct price bracket. So when you're searching on Zillow, Redfin, John L. Scott, Windermere, everything's in $25,000 increments. So if your home's at $379 and people qualify to $375, they're not seeing it. National Association of Realtors says if you are in, every time you drop to that next $25,000 price bracket, you pick up 7% more buyers.
Which is a pretty big number.
It's huge.
And that doesn't mean you're selling the house for less. It just means that you're going to advertise it for a little bit less.
Correct. Yeah, so having it in there, and then buyers, when they're doing their searches and getting ready to go look at their homes, that's the next tip I was going to talk about, is put the home on the market on a Thursday, because that's when people are searching. They're towards the end of their work day, and they're trying to figure out what they want to see for the weekend. So having it on a Thursday, fresh to the market, that really helps out too.
And then that way, for their Saturdays and Sundays that typically people are house hunting, it makes the listing look very new and, as you said, fresh.
Exactly.
And you work a lot with Zillow, and Zillow is one of those companies that has price increments, right? Similar thing. But you had talked about another way that you actually get the listing a little bit more attention on Zillow.
Yeah, and so that last tip is have a buyer incentive from the seller, because some of these homes, especially homes that are to the first time, catered to the first time buyer, $300,000 and below, you can put a Zillow buyer's incentive on there for $1,500, and then that can go towards their closing costs. So that really helps get homes sold quicker.
So not only does it give the perception that there's a better deal maybe on the house, but also shoots it up the listing ladder, I guess, of Zillow.
Yeah, we get a ton of buyers just from doing that step right there.
Well, Tyler, certainly 5 good tips for sellers out there, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ben.
Yeah, again, that's Tyler Freed with Windermere Real Estate. We'll look forward to catching you next time on Real Estate Resource TV.